You're already familiar with what the mainstream actually is, so now I can go into what mainstream lenses are. You've probably already heard the saying, seeing the world through rose tinted glasses, meaning to see the world with unrealistic optimism. Well, seeing the world through mainstream glasses means both that you see the world optimistically when you shouldn't and pessimistically when you shouldn't. For example, you see raw meat as bad and cooked meat as good. The mainstream distorts your natural worldview, and that's the exact problem. Don't think of normies as people who see the world as is. Think of them as people who experience the world through mainstream lens. Older people are the worst because that just means for however long they've been alive, that's how long they've been conditioned for. That's why I don't believe in wisdom with age. Yes, you may have learnt some things, but it's counteracted by attachment to toxic and fallacious beliefs. If you've been living a life according to certain conditioning, you'll feel like it will have been a waste to discard them, but that's what you have to do if you want your life to improve. It's sunk cost fallacy, which is why it's easier to convince younger people to change than it is for older people. They're not emotionally attached to the conditioning. Normies are people who have been conditioned their whole lives, and the brainwashing is so strong that they could mistake suffering for enjoyment and enjoyment for suffering. Ugliness can be seen as beautiful, and beauty can be seen as hideous. People can be gaslit to go against their natural senses, which is another word or a phrase for common sense. Here we have a woman grimacing during a push up. If she had this face whilst doing literally anything else, whether it's eating, having sex, or stepping on a Lego, no one would say she enjoyed it. Imagine this face isolated from the context of exercise. It just looks like suffering. But in the mind of a normie, they see the added context of exercise and then they view it as enjoyment because exercise has to be enjoyable. I mean, they've been told this their entire lives, so how could it be anything else? Never mind reality staring them right in the face, and it even applies to the person doing the exercise. Afterwards, they'll believe that they enjoyed it despite the body screaming for them to stop the whole time. It's very twisted, and that's the power of conditioning. I have made supercuts of unprovoked dog attacks and shown how having dogs around is actually worse than what most things we would consider as child negligence. If we were following the letter of the law, dog ownership would be illegal, and the reason it's not is because the people enforcing the laws are seeing the world through mainstream lens. The law isn't enforced by artificial intelligence with no bias. It's enforced by human judges and police who are conditioned. You must get them to first acknowledge the existence of the mainstream lens before they can remove them so that you can change the system. Normies are dangerous, and the reason you can't allow them to say delusional is because they're real people with real power in this world, and they're going to decrease your quality of life. Not a single lie can be allowed to persist for the good of all. Helping to remove the mainstream lens is societal self-defense. You defend yourself, your friends, and family. From a purely selfish standpoint, if you want to live the best life possible, even if it's just for yourself, you have to be living in the best possible society. An optimal life requires an optimal society. People don't just have their beliefs and that's it. People don't just live in their isolated bubbles that doesn't affect anyone else. There's a concept called negative externalities. Unrelated third parties are negatively impacted. On the flip side, there's positive externalities where you can reap the benefits from other people's work. if you want society to change for the better, you can either do it yourself or you can support people such as myself through liking and commenting for the algorithm to promote my videos to more people, and eventually some important people are going to listen, or there'll be critical mass, and then they can pressure powerful people to change society for the better. Our related topic is the Overton window, which I'm planning to make a video soon. Being a normie is not binary, it's a scale. Your norminess is based on how much of the mainstream you follow. If you want to not follow the mainstream at all, take off the glasses and throw them out. Don't think that there's only a little smudge of them and you can just wipe it off and you're not a normie anymore. Take it off now and throw it away, because those beliefs that form the mainstream lens comes from the elites, the establishment, the rich and powerful, whatever you want to call them. If those beliefs don't come from your own deduction or feelings, then they're untrustworthy, because your friends, family, and teachers also get their beliefs from the mainstream, so they're compromised.